shame on you, you're wrong, I blame this and this and this and this and... Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I'm going to share an email that I received from somebody about a video that I, compiled from their channel, and they didn't like that too much, so let's read this email and see what they had to say. Okay, so he started his email off with, Lance, hey man, it's Drew from Genetically Modified Skeptic. Whoa, okay. I've done some reviews on, previous videos of his, but this was, kind of a shocker to see him email me. He went on to say, thought I'd shoot you an email about a video you uploaded last month. Okay? First, I'll say that I'm totally fine with any response/reaction videos to my stuff. Okay, cool, right? I saw one you did a while back and didn't have a problem with it. We can disagree about things and still be professional. So to give you a little background about him, he's more anti-MLM, used to be a part of Young Living, but left them because he believes it's a cult, among other reasons, which I've covered in my videos, and you can just, YouTube search Genetically Modified Skeptic and find a whole bunch of information in his videos about that. He's also an atheist as well, so he has very opposing beliefs than me, right? I'm more for authentic network marketing and more of a Christian focus as well, but also, fact-based. I think the fact-based element is what we keep in common, but I try to be more objective, although I still have a home team I root for. I feel like he is just more one-sided, but still does present fact-based information. So, some people present just all opinions or half opinions. I do obviously have commentary and opinions too. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying it's important to have opinions, have facts to support them, and be able to come to accurate conclusions. That's it. Okay, so let's continue on here. He went on to say, which it seems obvious to me that you understand given your demeanor on your channel. Yeah, so I have more of like a edutainment style, so half educational, half entertainment. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's cool that he realizes that. Just try to keep things light and fun, and I think some people get a little serious in the comment sections because they get triggered, which is understandable, but it's important that we try to seek the truth, and speak the truth, right? And then also seek understanding on things by asking questions and trying to develop personally as well. I think those are really missing in a lot of the unreasonable comments I get, where it's more people trying to win and be right and focus on the problem and blaming and shaming, right? So totally opposite of what I try to do. He goes on to say here, however, a certain compilation video you uploaded is not really acceptable, so I thought I'd let you know. And then he has like a little link here to the actual video. Boom, right there. Just showing it quick. I actually took it down, so we're just going to fast forward, but I'll talk about why that is as I read through this here. He went on to say, the video just takes my content and puts it on your channel without transformative, okay, without transforming comments and commentary. There we go. Ooh, I don't know what happened right there. He says, taking whole videos of mine and uploading them is not okay. I do YouTube full-time and just can't let that stuff slide. He put his foot down, all right? So there's different types of styles of videos. Obviously, you've seen on YouTube, there's vlogs, which is more original content. There's people who do reviews, kind of like Siskel and Ebert did with, Ebert and Roper, whoever you want to call it, like movie review, but instead it's like YouTube video reviews. There's reaction videos, where you're not really talking about the video, you're just more like facial expressions and noises like, oh, stuff like that. And then there's like compilation videos where you may see a string of videos that have been edited and to create a compilation video. And what I did was a compilation of his, some of his popular videos. I did do a decent amount of editing on those to kind of make them compliant as well with FDA language and stuff. But he saw this, or somebody, gave him a link to it, so that's why he sent this email, because he was not okay with the compilation video format. But it's important to know where people stand, right? And he's going to continue here and say, I could have flagged it on YouTube, but I decided to ask you to remove it here instead so your channel doesn't take a hit. All right, so that's an interesting way to say something, like, hey, let's just communicate first and see, since it's his content, he reached out about his content and did it via email. He didn't, make a fuss about it, which is cool. I respect that, right? Not everyone's going to agree with my content, just like you agree with everything that he does either. And I don't think just because you disagree with something or dislike it, that doesn't mean you flag something. That doesn't make sense. That's not reasonable. What you flag is if it violates YouTube's terms of service, which has to do with like, things that are controversial from a, typically it's like stuff that shouldn't be on there. I mean, you probably know what that is. It's like overly sexual or derogatory, or uses slurs or cursing, or stuff like that, where because I don't want to say it's if people take offense, because people take offense when they get triggered with the truth about anything, right? So it's not that. It's more just like if it violates terms of service. And really, I would say if it just disrespects people in a way that doesn't look at both sides and is not fact-based, if that makes sense. I mean, even with that, you could say, well, I could still take offense to something still. It's just like, yeah, you could, right? But it's not about if you take offense or not. It's about, I think, respect. It's about trying to be fact-based, and it's about really seeking understanding and speaking the truth. I think that's what it comes down to, because we still have freedom of speech, right? I don't think it's important. I don't think we should censor people because we dislike them or their content or their delivery, or we should censor people because we don't like, or agree with what they say or do or anything like that either. So I think it really should be grounds for discussion, and that's what I really try to facilitate on my channel as well. But here we go. He says, that's what I'd want someone to do for me in this situation. I recommend that you do a bit of reading into laws regarding fair use so that you don't run into future issues. Hope to hear from you shortly. And then he ended with Drew. Okay, so I did look into it, and fair use basically means that you can use content as long as it's for parodies or reviews or things like that. There's a whole YouTube page and information on that. But yeah, so I'm familiar with that, and I did transform his content, but didn't add any commentary. So maybe that's what he had a problem with, which I could see, I could meet him halfway. And so I responded back with an email saying, hey Drew, thank you for the email. Congrats on going full-time with YouTube, right? That's an accomplishment, whereas maybe 10 years ago people would have been like, ha, YouTube, what? Actually, if you look up Ryan's toy review and just Google that, you'll see that he was the highest income earner for YouTube and made over $22 million in partnership with Walmart, because he has like clothing and toys and stuff too, but still, like, and that's like obviously an exception, not the rule. But the point is like people are making some major money on YouTube through ad revenue and through sponsorships and endorsements and clothing lines and toy lines and online programs and membership sites, and I mean, you keep going on and on his way. But the point I'm trying to make is like 10 years ago people might have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But now it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what does that look like for you? All right, so, and then I go on to say, I can understand where you're coming from as a content creator and the amount of work you put into your videos. So yeah, I mean, I acknowledge, just because we disagree, because he's an atheist and anti-MLM, that doesn't mean that I don't respect his work ethic or that I don't respect him as a human being. I mean, yeah, we don't always agree on everything, on every topic, and that's okay. Like, and that doesn't mean I would like flag his video either in retaliation, or like we talk to people as human beings, as adults, and we work things out. Like, that's what a reasonable person does. I see him as reasonable. I just see him as having different beliefs and values than myself. And again, that's normal. Like, if everyone agreed on everything that you thought or believed on yourself, then you'd be the same person, and one of you would not be necessary, right? So like, and if somebody did agree with you on 100% of everything, they would be really suspect, because they seem like they would be pretending, or they have an ulterior motive. Like, nobody agrees with you 100% of the time on 100% of the things. Like, that's like, it's too good to be true, okay? The only person that does that is yourself, because that's the only person that probably would. All right, and then here we go. He said, and then I said, as a compromise, I will permanently unlist the video, demonetize the video, and will focus on adding commentary to video compilations like these in the future, so they are more transformative in nature. So, again, meeting people in the middle, compromising, letting them know that, hey, yeah, I mean, I did edit it significantly and compiled some videos that I thought were some of his best, kind of like, America's Funniest Home Videos does. They compile the funniest videos, but they also have, the difference is more commentary in between videos, or, during different segments, before and after commercials and stuff like that. So, yeah, I see that, right? I work with people on stuff. And then he said, and then he followed up with an email and said, sounds good, thanks for understanding. And that was it. And that just goes to show that, number one, just because you don't like or agree with somebody doesn't mean you have to be unreasonable and try to win and be right and do stuff like flag a video. Like, no, like, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk things out. And just because you don't get your way doesn't mean you do it either. I mean, let's, right? We're going to have people that don't agree with us. We're going to have people that don't like us. We're going to have people, and then vice versa, that you don't like or that you don't agree with. So it goes both ways. I think, again, it's just about having a reasonable discussion and making his thoughts known, and I'm willing to compromise on stuff as well. And you know, he uses his content and platform and past experiences and other people's experiences to leverage his content, right? He'll talk about his negative experience he had with Young Living, or his negative experience with, you know, Christians, or his negative experience with this or that, and use that as a way and, you know, to talk about stuff on YouTube and earn an income as a YouTube partner. So I get that, right? And not everybody, again, is going to see eye to eye with that. Like, I don't see eye to eye on a lot of the stuff that he talks about, but I see where he's coming from. And that's really the big thing. Empathy is just seeing the other person's side. It doesn't mean you got to agree with them or even like them or what they're saying or how they said it, right? There's a lot of qualifications there. But it, you know, that's it. And the book How to Solve Your People Problems is an amazing book to try to understand all of that, because I feel like that's severely lacking. Like, financial education is really lacking in our school system, and then we have like more natural education for like your health, and then conflict resolution. I think those three things right there are severely lacking and extremely practical, but severely lacking. The only way to get it is to seek it out. Okay, anyways, and then what are the lessons learned? And to kind of wrap things up here, seems like he got a little in his feelings in the email. I could kind of sense that in his tone, right? Because somebody's using his content in a way that he didn't feel was transformative in nature, which I get that, I understand that. But at the same time, I'm open to reasonable discussions and constructive feedback. And I know that unreasonable people aren't open to constructive feedback. They'll be like, why are you telling me this? Or why don't you do that? Or you do this, do that, that. And it's just like they deflect or they project, you know, what they are onto other people. And it's like, no, just like if you're getting constructive feedback, or even, you know, I get deconstructive feedback on my comments and they get blocked by YouTube comment filters because they use bad words and stuff. Or people will comment on my appearance instead of the facts presented in the video, which shows that they don't know how to have a reasonable discussion. So it's like, if you're gonna like state your opinion, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. I'm okay with people not liking me, my message, my delivery, how I said it. That's totally cool. I think it's just being able to communicate that in a way that's respectable and that's reasonable. If somebody said, I don't like your video, I don't like you, and I don't like the way you communicated it, but, you know, that's, somebody said, I'd be like, cool, wow, thank you for your honesty and still being respectful about it. You know, like, I would respect that person way more than the person that's like, shame on you, you're wrong, I blame this and this and this and this, and, you know, just starts cussing too, and it's just like, really? Like, do you have digital courage because you're in front of your phone or laptop? Like, that's not how you treat people in real life. I hope not. And hopefully when the honeymoon phase of a friendship or relationship is over, you don't treat people like that either. Like, we should, you know, treat people with respect. And when we don't agree with them or don't like them, then we need to just state, hey, I disagree with that for these reasons, but can you help me understand this? Or, you know, I think there's a better way, but I need to do more research. Or, you know, just communicate in a way that's like, hey, let me look into this and then I'll get back to you. Or, I don't really like the way that sounds, but, you know, and here's why, or let me look into it some more, right? So, yeah, that's it. I think the moral of the story and the main lesson learned is, like, it's so important to hear people out and be able to communicate where you stand respectfully. And I think working with people after that is really important. And when I say working with, I mean being able to say, like, I agree to disagree, or let's just agree to disagree, or maybe we can agree to disagree. You know, like, that's cool, right? Alright, well, thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to hit the like button if you did, hit subscribe for future video updates, and make sure to check out the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on, and I'll see you in the next video.